I'm really proud of Richie. I just want to say
Yes.
that.
Wow.
I'm really proud of our producer. I was just gonna let him
I was
do his
about,
thing.
you know what's funny?
Yes,
It's
I have my
like,
little blankie. It's a little chilly.
you know what's great about
So
that?
now that Richie has officially screwed that up, welcome to Third Down Thursdays. My name is MJ. That's Coach Bruce.
Yes, sir.
It's a wonderful evening in sports. Little preview. We got Mike Ryan Ruiz, executive producer of the Dan Lebatard Show, coming on later. We have plenty to talk about in the world of sports. But first, Bruce, two
Yes,
things. Number one, how are you doing? Number two, what are you drinking tonight?
Ooh, well,
I have my Body Armor Strawberry Banana. Sponsor us.
Nice. As you already know, last night, Eric and I talked on beers and sports, talked a little BS. We actually drank Phase 3. Little Phase 3 action. It was super tasty. I'm trying to remember what the actual drink is. Hold on. Oh, sorry. It's a house lager brewed by Phase 3. So if I don't know.
Okay, I could have even told you that, and I listened to like 5 minutes of the show.
Yeah, well, you know, that's actually what I had previously while we were just talking and getting ready for the show. But yeah, no, we go back to our regular scheduled.
There we
beer
go.
with-
Regularly scheduled program.
right, with a little Coors Light action. Yeah, man. No, that's everything's good though on my end. No complaints. The show with Eric and I has been awesome. It's been so much fun working with my childhood friend and being able to just tear shit up and give him a platform to express his knowledge base. Because man, let me tell you, when we talk about knowledge bases, this motherfucker has knowledge bases on beer and sports, obviously, because for those of you that have watched the show, he's absolutely a encyclopedia, thesaurus, all that shit when it comes to beers and sports. So everything's been good, man. No complaints. We got it's actually pretty cool. So tomorrow night, I have a reunion with my former co-ed softball league I played in, my team, I should say. And let me tell you something, dude. So we won the championship with this team. We were freaking unbelievable. We were really, really good softball team. And I'm not going to lie to you, well, obviously, and you know this when we were doing when I was doing hitting the fungo bat and fly balls. Granted, I didn't have the traditional swing because I wasn't the greatest of baseball players or anything like that. However, the one thing I did have on my side was a decent amount of power, and honestly, just athleticism. That's all it really was.
Didn't know where it was going, but it was going deep.
No idea. But you know what? Those slow pitch softball is a different freaking brand of sport. Baseball, obviously, whatever. But let me tell you something. Hey, that's pretty sick. Happy belated birthday, MJ.
Thank you very much. Oh yeah, we didn't have a show last week, so yes, thank you.
True. But yeah, finishing off what I was saying though, we were pretty damn good, and I was actually pretty decent. And at the time, I was in my mid-20s, so I still had some speed. Go figure. We're having a reunion tomorrow, and our team name, and it's gonna be so fitting. And when I tell you this, you're gonna be like, "Yeah, that's the reason." Our team name was Some Balls. So I'm gonna tell you though, we had such great times with that team. It was so much fun. But yeah, I look forward to that. But everything else is fine, man. No complaints. We're on the back stretch of the year for work.
True.
Starting to get shit together for other things, and yeah, that's about it.
I like it. I had a rough day at work today, but as I was in my last hour, I looked at myself and I realized I am already in overtime for the week.
Nice. So that means you're off then for a decent amount of time, right? Because they don't want to pay your ass overtime.
No, I'm getting 20 hours of overtime for the rest of the week.
Oh, so do you get time and a half for yours?
Yes, I do.
Let's go.
So every hour on Friday and Saturday, which are the worst days for me because they're the busiest, every single moment that I'm there is overtime.
All right, man. Let me tell you something. You better enjoy that time.
Oh, I'm going to. I'm getting yelled at. I don't care. We're getting destroyed. I don't care. I'm in overtime. I'm getting paid time and a half right now. I don't care.
Love it.
You want me to take out the trash? Okay. I'm gonna walk out there. Boop.
How'd that go? Can you please
overtime?
You know what though, and here's the thing, and a lot of people bitch and complain about the job that they might be having, and no disrespect to them, but whatever. Everyone has their own individual.
Sometimes it sucks. Yeah, I complain plenty about my job.
Right, exactly. But at the same time, though, taking into consideration what you might be working on, I'd venture to say, and this is not knowledge that is been proven, obviously, because it's coming from me. I would say 65% of the things we bitch and complain about our jobs are super easy tasks that we just find mundane because we do them on a daily basis. But guess what? And we're getting paid for something that's super easy and mundane. And at the end of the day, that's what pays the bills, right?
Oh yeah. And it's that's the thing is you can, complain about it all you want. It's the reason that you eat. It's the reason that you have your house. So it may not be fun, but it's what pays the bills. So at the end of the day, until you find something, until this pays the bills for us, then you go to the day job and you do what you got to do.
I'm going to tell you right now, this shit right here, needs to go to make some dough. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah. If I got to yell at you for a living, That
Oh
would
my
be
God.
incredible.
Hey man, like if we have the opportunity to do this for fucking like some kind of dough, I'm totally down. You know why? Because anytime you have an opportunity to do your damn passion and have fun with it, let's go.
Life
Let's do
lessons
it.
with MJ and Bruce right here. This is
Life
what you really
lessons.
live
Yeah,
for.
where is this going? I have no idea. This
I have no
see, this is the
idea.
off the cuff type shit that we do here on Third Down Thursdays. That leads us down an alley that we don't know what happens.
Couldn't tell you what
It sounded
alley
so
we're on.
bad.
But what I could tell you is make sure to watch Coach Bruce and Eric on Wednesdays as they talk beers and sports. Follow Beers and Sports on Twitter if you have not already. But what I do want to get into, I think this is going to be the shortest one.
Yeah.
Oh, are we going to do that? Oh, we're going to do that first. Okay.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. I figured
No, yeah, no, yes. So Twitter broke the other night. What was that? Monday night, I think.
Was it Monday night?
Yeah.
Monday
night?
It was Sunday.
Sunday
night.
Twitter broke on Sunday night with the slap heard around the world. First question for you, Bruce. Staged or not staged?
I'm gonna say I personally think it was staged.
Okay.
I really do. The only reason why I think it was staged was because of the slight lean forward that Chris Rock had in it. And I know like our producer Richie doesn't think it was staged. I get it. But like I kind of slowed it down. Like seeing kind of Will Smith laughing at it and stuff like that, whatever.
Bruce took it into slow-mo. He went into Coach Bruce mode.
Totally he did.
He broke down the film, broke down the angle.
Like,
and he said this was staged.
And to be honest with you, the fact that Chris Rock just took that shit. Chris Rock just took it. Like okay, I mean, obviously, what else are you gonna do?
Slap.
True. And like, what else are you gonna do? But then when Will Smith walked away from it, though, when Will Smith was just like, okay, like, you know, whatever, after he did it, he walks away and he's like adjusting his suit and stuff. Like, it almost looked like there was a slight like smile that he did with it.
Well, yeah, because he enjoyed. Okay, listen, Bruce. If somebody offends you and you get to just smack them.
I'm not smiling afterward. I'm just
really?
walking away. I'm not smiling.
I'd be smiling.
That's because you're vindictive.
He was satisfied. He was happy.
Okay.
He did what he wanted to do and he got away with it.
Okay, satisfied.
And then he got to scream at him on national TV. Well, ABC muted it.
Hold on. Satisfied and being happy is after like having an intimate moment. That's satisfied and happy. Or after successfully playing a sport and doing something well. That's happy. Slapping someone just because like he makes a G.I. Jane joke. I'm sorry. Like that's fucking like you're too sensitive. Shut the fuck up. That's just my
anyway. MLB opening day is this week. The A's are going to suck. They traded everybody away, and they still want to trade more players away. So I'm not even going to talk about the A's. And the Cubs are going to be trash too. So Bruce and I are going to be sad all season.
Well, I will say this though. Like, so I'm continuing.
Okay, they're going to win like 84 games.
No, I don't care about that. I'm not even talking about that. My wife and I are actually continuing our tradition of going to opening day since we started dating.
Oh yes.
So that's pretty cool. And that's actually the same location in which I asked my wife to marry me. So.
Which is the most Bruce thing ever.
Yeah, I know, sporting events and everything like that.
Oh, yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And also, no, actually what ended up happening was I asked her outside by the Harry Carey statue, and where I also put lilies for my mom, because my mom was a huge Cubs fan too. So I ended up putting lilies down on the statue to give homage to my mom. And then right after I did that, I walked over to some random guy. This is funny as hell, actually. I walked to a random guy and I was like, hey, can you record this? And he's like, oh, take a picture. I'm like, no, motherfucker, record.
Like, record.
I'm like, record. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, just record. And so then that proceeded me to asking my wife. And we all know, and you know, obviously the culmination of that, which is us getting married. Yes. But anyway, so I digress. So MLB opening day happening. MJ, are you happy about it? Like Major League Baseball is obviously, you know, the America's pastime, all that stuff. What do you think about that?
I mean, also the thing for me, what's the opening night game? It's like the Braves and I know they're the reigning champs, but even just like the opening night game doesn't excite me. Like I don't know that, and we've talked about this before, but I didn't even realize until I was watching the Warriors game last night. I was watching the Warriors Suns game last night, which we'll get to in a little bit. And I didn't realize until then, during one of the commercials, that MLB opening night was a week from tonight.
Oh, it's Yankees Red Sox.
No, it's not.
Is it?
That's not the first game.
No, it's not the first.
It's Braves somebody.
And anyways.
Yeah, this is the job for a producer. But
yeah, right.
Like, I didn't
ESPN.
even know that's when baseball was starting. I didn't even know that.
Oh, it's Braves Reds.
Yeah, like that. I don't want to watch the Reds on opening night.
Why do I want to watch the Reds? The Reds just have.
I never want to watch the Reds
blowing up their team, and they're not very good. It's absolutely disappointing, and it's although the Houston that same night Houston plays the Athletics.
Okay, they're gonna get smacked.
Yeah, they are. Oh, what do you think?
I don't want to watch that. That's gonna be depressing because they suck.
Oh man!
And the Astros just destroy them because they cheat the whole time. Don't even get me started.
Oh wait!
On that.
Oh wow! Wait, hold on. Time out. I was totally wrong. That's my fault. So ESPN will kick off the season April 1st with the Toronto Blue Jays visiting the New York Yankees. So that's actually a really good game. I'll take that.
Hey Bruce.
Yeah. Where's that? Oh no way! What's up, dude?
I sent it to him on Snapchat.
That's good stuff, dude. Let's go, dog. What's up, man? How are you? Hope everything's well with you.
Oh my gosh. The other man who was there when I met Coach Bruce.
Truth. He knows the history.
Fantastic.
Hey, there's a picture. I don't know if you can see the monitors
right
in the
there,
way.
Yeah.
But no, I got that picture up when we played
right there.
When we played Palatine. How crazy is that? Anyway. So no, they play it's the White Sox. They play the Yankees and Blue Jays. And honestly, there's actually that's going to be pretty decent because the Blue Jays are going to be pretty
okay. That's a good
awesome.
game.
Blue Jays are going to be pretty damn good this year.
But I don't want to watch the Reds on opening night. That's just depressing. Really?
Okay. I don't disagree with that.
But even so, like,
well, you know what I'm curious about?
And the problem baseball has, not just the marketing.
Well, we've talked about that.
Right. They still didn't find a way to make it competitive. That is amazing.
I bet you do, dog. I bet you do. So it's down.
That is amazing. I also love that Bruce and I are in your bedroom.
Whoa. We're gonna have to cut that. Richie, anyway. We're gonna have to cut that.
But we still haven't. Baseball still has not found a way so that it's not just Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox spend money every year.
Right.
I understand that that's baseball's thing is they don't have a salary cap. That's why they have the stupid luxury tax that actually doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do anything. It doesn't prevent any kind of no.
But if you want your game to be competitive, like the Cincinnati Bengals, it's the same thing. The Reds never win anything. The Reds would never have made the World Series with a star player in their second year because that's just not going to happen. Like the Bengals were able to make the Super Bowl with Joe Burrow in his second year. Like it's just that kind of the lack of parity where the NBA, ironically, has been able to, they have a salary cap, kind of. They've gotten around that with the bird rights and a hard cap that serves more like the luxury tax baseball has. But the NBA has been able to form something where, okay, you do need multiple superstars. You do need a super team to win. But there actually is some parity in the NBA now because so many guys have teamed up in that sense.
You know what's one of the things I actually do like about the NBA this year, and I like the concept of it, and we talked about it last night on Beers and Sports, is the play-in games. I don't know. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the layout for it, but
yeah, I have. It's actually gonna be. I'm actually gonna like the play-in games this year.
I think the concept behind it's actually really, 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 really cool. So let's see. Hold on. Let's see if I still have it. Oh, I got rid of it. Dang. But in any case, so I think that's a pretty cool. I think that it adds that level of parity that you're talking about. And
yeah,
and I think MLB, during this lockout time frame, they expanded the playoff to 14, I believe 14.
Yeah, but that's just gonna make it worse. And it's the same
It's
thing
watered
that
down. It's gonna water it down.
right. And it's the same reason right now the Lakers are 31-44. They're absolute trash. And there's a chance they could make it into a playoff series because of the play-in.
True.
When the 7th seeded Timberwolves are an entire 11 games ahead of them. And if the Lakers win 2 games, the Timberwolves could be out of the playoffs and they could be in for an entire series. That's what I don't like. I love the excitement of the play-in. And last year when the Warriors were in the play-in, I watched that game with the most interest I'd watched a game in the entire year. So I as a fan, those games are going to be exciting.
Right.
But for the entire league as a whole, it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And so It's the same thing with baseball. You're going to get sub 500 teams in the playoffs when it's still going to be down to the Dodgers and somebody else in the World Series. The Lakers, their roster is bad. Whoever is the 14th team in the Major League Baseball playoff, their roster is going to be bad. They're not going to win anything. So you might keep a couple more fans engaged, but that's not the way for baseball to fix their problem.
I agree. And so I'm gonna make that transition though to the NBA playoff stuff because what I think is actually really cool and kind of this is like it's a very weird situation because you have Brooklyn who is in my opinion a super team.
I love this.
And I actually think that I think it's awesome. And I find it weird how New York suddenly lifted the ban on Kyrie Irving.
Weird, right?
Yeah, it's interesting how that works, right?
Wild.
Right. So I really do think, though, that it's going to be a lot of fun watching that team because they are going to be in the play-in game. I really do think that they're going to be in the play-in game. But they're going to put an absolute fucking beat down on any team they face in the play-in.
Right now they're supposed to face the Hornets.
Right, and they're the 8th right now. Yeah, that's fine. They're
gonna smack.
They're gonna smoke
the Hornets.
Sorry, Jordan.
Oh wait, actually no. Sorry, they're supposed to play the Cavs. I forgot how the play-in game works for a second. Because the 9 and 10 play, right?
Yeah, 9 and 10 play. Hold on.
Yeah, so the Nets are gonna play the Cavs, which that's actually a decent game. The Cavs are gonna get smacked, especially with Jared Allen hurt. But I like that game better. Hornets Hawks is just going to be LaMelo Ball versus Trae Young, which I actually think would be exciting. So I mean, I like that. The Nets will. The only thing, and I want to get you going on this because I have a feeling you have an opinion about this.
That's what she said.
I want to get you going, Bruce. The Toronto Raptors are going to host 3 playoff games, in which, depending on their opponent, some players on that team will not be able to play if they are not fully vaccinated.
There you go. That's the breakdown for that, and we'll touch on that in a second.
Yeah. So, what do you think?
I love this.
Questions. What do you think generally of the Raptors literally being able, because they're in Canada, being able to hypothetically shut out an entire team? Probably not the whole team, but a couple players might not be able to play. Who knows who they are on certain teams? And should they have to play their home games in the U.S.?
No, they should, because in the grand scheme of things, they are the Toronto Raptors, and at the end of the day, they are. It's an NBA team. It's not like this is It's a sport. It's a sport. Life is life, and there are rules to follow in life, and we have to follow them, regardless of what opinions we may have of them. And that's what makes it fun about what we do, because we're going to be able to say shit. We're going to be able to talk shit about whatever we do. But at the end of the day, rules are rules. You have to follow them. I'm not against it. It is what, I'm cool with it. If Kyrie Irving and Brooklyn goes up to Canada and Kyrie can't play, okay, sorry, Kyrie can't play. I'm sorry. I'm not against it. I'm not against it. It is what it is. If you make a decision based upon what you think is right by you, and that's your personal decision, but you also have to live with the ramifications of what happened professionally in whatever your respective field is, and that's it. Wow, that might be one of my best rants in a long time.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. And for Richie's sake, that was pretty on point too. I asked a question. You answered the question.
Didn't tangent.
I'm pretty impressed, honestly.
So that's just, that's my thought. Like, thank you. It's professional growth. But no, I'm not. That's it. That's all I'm saying is like it's gonna happen. It is what it is. Wow, that was a travel. Sorry, I'm watching the Bulls game right now. But
it's funny because I just saw a tweet from Rob about the Bulls game. He's pissed too.
They look. Oh, that was a nice pass. Finish that boy. Sorry. Play-by-play. Io with a nice little reverse.
Oh my gosh, we should call. I was thinking about that. We should call some game sometime.
Yeah, but that's
what we should do. We should
very much copyright.
No, it's not.
Oh, that's true. We can just
as long as there's not the video.
Oh, that'd be.
We can call it because there's literally entire apps and websites designed to random people calling games.
Ball screen. No, I can't. I'll be like, dude, do you remember Neil Funk? By the way,
you'd have to be the color commentator.
True.
He could do it for football. Richie's saying Bruce couldn't do it. You could do it for football.
Well, no, I could do play-by-play. We can do play-by-play. No, I would be too distracted. Because, like, to be honest with you, I'd be sitting there. I'm like, why would he do that?
What do you do? Yeah, that's why you would be the color guy.
That's fair.
So I'd be like, Bruce, what is he doing?
Oh no, okay, legitimately, I could probably answer that question. I could talk about that. But so to go back real quick, so I know we're tangenting. Go figure. That's what we do. The NBA playoff preview, just to finish it up, just to talk about it real quick. So I'm going to be selfish and talk about locally. The Chicago Bulls are playing like absolute trash. Last night, Eric and I were talking about it. I don't think that they're going to sink down to the play-in, but they need to win the game tonight. If they don't win the game tonight, then yes, they'll be in the play-in. If they win the game tonight, they won't be in the play-in games. That's it. That's all I said. And I would love to see a matchup against the Bulls and Celtics because I think they have the best matchup. They would have the best chance to win against the Celtics. Currently.
Really?
Yeah. No, I'm not because the Celtics just had.
Are you talking about in the bottom half of the bracket?
Yeah, if it's a 4-5 matchup, it's Celtics to be 4. I think. Let me check.
Well, yeah, they have a better chance than the Raptors to beat them.
Yeah. So right now, so it's Celtics are 4th, Bulls are 5th, and the Celtics just lost. Oh my God, his name's slipping my mind right now. They just
Robert
lost.
Williams.
Correct. Who was an absolute stud in the paint, that one of the in a rim protector and rebounder, and honestly, I think he's a big glue guy for that basketball team. So, and what does Vucevic suck at? Being defended by guys that are bigger and stronger than him. So,
don't most human beings struggle with being guarded by somebody bigger and stronger than them?
Yeah, but
kind of how it works.
But if you look at Vucevic, who was a multiple-time All-Star, you would think that he would be able to, do something.
He was an All-Star because he had pure volume.
Exactly.
Same reason Luka Doncic is good.
Oh, let's not get on that. We're not going to get on that. We're not going to get on that.
Oh, I will do it.
Oh, we're not going to get on that topic at all. Oh, man. Oh, by the way, so speaking of like random shit, I actually put a futures bet in for the Golden State Warriors to win the NBA Finals this year.
They won't, but that's great.
I actually really.
They're not going to. However,
I really like them.
Real quick, it's very sad because I'm realizing and this will be the first time I've ever said this. If the Golden State Warriors want to win a championship, Draymond Green cannot start.
Agree. He's not.
For a long time he was what.
He was the grit.
He wanted to be Jokic, right? He wanted to be the playmaking big man. But last night it didn't happen. But when I realized I was done with him, he was this close in a 1-point game with a minute left in the game to getting a tech for shoving Jay Crowder because Jay Crowder accidentally bumped into him.
Yeah. And
if he got a tech, he would have gotten ejected from the game, 2 free throws, and the ball to the Suns.
Exactly. And
now they lost the game anyway.
Not smart.
Correct. So it's that type of stuff where I'm like, okay, you can't shoot. Man is wide open at the free throw line for a mid-range jumper and won't take it. he was really valuable before because he would shoot threes and make them at about 33%.
Agreed.
And now he can't do that anymore. He's pretty much useless. So I would rather have run a lineup of Poole, Curry, Wiggins, Klay Thompson, and Kevon Looney. Like, if you want to run that, go for it. And they have so many other pieces they can mix and match there. But Draymond Green is just, if you need somebody who's going to get you a few assists and rebounds a night, you can get that production out of other players. You don't need Draymond Green to get that production. So that's where I'm like, if they're going to win, he cannot be playing the type of minutes he's playing right now. I understand the defense, the energy, the culture, the leadership, all of that. I understand that. But you have a lot of other guys on the team. Gary Payton is a better defender than Draymond Green.
Right
Gary
now?
Payton's second. Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gary,
I trust him to guard 1 through 4 better than Draymond right now. Yes, he's on the Warrior. Richie's talking in our ears. He has no idea what he's talking about.
I love this. I love how he's talking to you. You're like, yes, you're answering the question.
I realize now they can't hear
I know
him.
you can't.
Whatever.
I know you gotta. No.
Oh, is Gary Payton in the league right now? Yes, he is.
Gary Payton, yes, the second. Gary Payton, the
Gary
second.
Payton the second. Sorry, I forget to say the second.
All right,
But
so
yeah.
real quick. So I agree with this. I think Draymond Green is definitely aging in the worst way possible. I 100% agree with that. You're a 6'6" player. He is a I'll say it, like, he's a better version of Charles Barkley in his prime, but
Yeah, I don't know about that.
No, Barkley won an MVP. Yeah, no, that's bad.
He had an offensive game.
Yeah, that's true. No, I retract that. Let me retract that. That's the round mound of rebound, baby. Let's go. Round mound of rebound. But no, I think we're seeing the digression of his game. And what is he, 6'6", MJ?
Yep.
So you're seeing a 6'6" guy playing the 4 spot, 3-4 spot, trying to guard and he's not as fast as he was because I think he was banged around a little bit guarding bigger guys. And
he's just not as strong.
He's not as strong, and he's not as athletic. He can't move as fast. He's 32 years old now, I think, right?
Right.
So
yeah, he's getting older, and that's fine.
Knees give out after all the. Oh, listen, and like, he is a product of the success of the Golden State Warriors and the run that they've made, though. So you have to look at it from that perspective too, because the Golden State Warriors have been such freaking juggernauts for the past. I want to say they've been competitive for the past 10 years. Let's say 10 years. So
8 or 9, but yeah. Basically.
So let's just say 10 years, okay, Dick. So for the past 10 years, the Golden State Warriors have been super successful, and 82 games. So let's assume that he played 75 of those games, 75 times 10, assuming it's just regular season, along with Olympics, along with the multiple playoff games. So extended the season by 15 to 20 games, we'll say. And it's taking its toll. It is what it is, and it's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's sad to see. Like, there's a reason that Steve Kerr and everybody in the Warriors and all the Warriors fans love Draymond Green,
right?
Because he was really important.
He was incredibly
to that team, but he just doesn't play the same role that he used to, and that's okay. But that's just where we're at. So that's where I'm like, I'm done. I'm done dealing with his BS, because you can deal with it.
BS beers averaging Wednesdays at 7.
When he was averaging 10, 8, and 7, that's one thing. But he's averaging 6, 6, and 7 now, and I'm in more fouls than points.
I'm glad you didn't say 666, because I think that would put like a hex on the show or some shit.
No, I wanted to say 6, 6, and 9. But
nice. And with that
beautiful transition, we are going to welcome to the show executive producer of the Dan Lebatard Show, Mike Ryan Ruiz. Mike, first of all, thank you very much for joining us today, sir. How are you doing this evening?
Oh, thank you for asking. I'm doing very well. Hope the same goes for you too.
Oh, absolutely. Bruce and I have been yelling at each other for the last 30 minutes, as we do. Mike, real quick before we get going, Bruce and I like telling people we have on the show about our story. I was Bruce's baseball player. He was my coach my freshman year of high school. And then right when the pandemic started, Bruce texted me while he was drunk and said, "Hey, we should start a podcast." And 2 years later, here we are. That's how all of our great ideas start. Is Bruce is like 6 beers in.
I believe it or not, I'm familiar with the that dynamic. One of my best friends became best friends with his with one of his star players, and they've been inseparable since.
That's all. Well, see, but you have to have the association of beer with it, though. So I don't know if they had that.
No, but since they've learned.
Fair.
There you go.
Fair enough. So what's going on with you, Mike? How's life? So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell the audience, tell the people watching a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
For those that aren't familiar with the Dan Lebatard show with Stu Gotts, we were a local radio show out of Miami that began in 2004. Over time, we grew to be the biggest sports talk show in the city. And I became a producer sometime in 2007 after graduating from an internship. And a couple of years after that, I became executive producer. And shortly thereafter, we made the jump to national radio while still having a pretty decent foothold in South Florida. We went to ESPN. And then after a year or so at ESPN, we moved time slots and took over for Colin Cowherd, and the show continued to really take off. We always had a really big digital following. After a few years over at ESPN, we struck out independently, and luckily enough, we partnered up with DraftKings, and we keep betting on ourselves, and it keeps working out. We're perennially up in the top 3 spots, always playing a game of musical chairs with Simmons and Pardon My Take for that top spot in American Sports Podcast, and we're really enjoying the ride.
Absolutely nothing wrong with betting on yourselves, especially when you win more times than not, right?
Yeah.
Bruce would know about not winning his bets.
Hey, man, we won't talk about we won't talk about that because that goes to a little March Madness stuff, but we won't need to talk about that.
I've had a brutal year myself. Pro football made no sense to me this year.
Hey, same. But I'm also a Bears fan, Mike. So pro football never makes sense to me.
Yeah, I was a Browns fan prior to, and I guess I'm in the market now. I'm just going to be the walking embodiment of the Rob Lowe meme.
I love that. I saw you tweeting about that. Has any team made a run at your fandom?
Yeah, quite a few. There's a mystery team out there that I can't reveal because of circumstances. But the Jacksonville Jaguars ownership contingent has made a formal offer. Tony Khan has been working it pretty nonstop. I feel like that's a pretty natural transition for me. No one can accuse me of being a glory hunter. Leaving Browns fandom for the Jags, that's true. It's not often where you get something that can't even be perceived as a lateral move from Browns fandom. And the Miami Dolphins and I are talking, but right now the clubhouse leaders just root for my bets, and quite frankly, that's probably a worse team than I could ever root for. Presently. True. So Rob Lowe meme is in the catbird seat, although I am entertaining offers, and the Jaguars offer in particular is quite flattering.
So Mr. Khan has a way to talk about things, so he's very persuasive, on the things that he may say to you. So
yeah, I've been lucky enough to become friends with him over time, and he's trying to get me to rock the teal and black. I've actually been up there for a couple of games already, so. If there's a team right now that's sitting capper, like I said, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. And a lot of people tell me, well, you have moral conflict about Deshaun Watson. They kind of hired Urban Meyer, and he was despicable. And I'm always quick to correct them. They also fired Urban Meyer pretty quickly.
Right away.
They fired him right away. And
one and done.
That's his biggest professional embarrassment. And me being a Canes booster and all, I'm looking at the Urban Meyer experience as a general pro.
So, Mike, if the Jaguars are recruiting you, that must mean you're a wide receiver, right?
I'm trying to get that Kirk money. No, I played tight end, not well. Played D end, not well. Well, that's actually the franchise for me. They'll just let anybody play tight end. So, perhaps it was written in the stars. Me being a Jags fan all along.
That's good, but it's all warm weather though. I know you got rid of the Cleveland thoughts, and it was a little chilly up there. So give me a cold weather team that's been trying to talk to you, Mike.
I can't reveal the mystery team. It puts them in a bad.
Oh wait, so the mystery team is cold weather.
So the mystery team is cold weather. Although when you're in Miami, pretty much everything is cold weather.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
So I'm hearing Green Bay Packers. I like it.
No, it's in the AFC. I've said too much.
I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's a team that breaks tables.
The Bills Mafia fans have been the most aggressive fan base for my services, and I think if I'm sorry, I'm doing this interview on my DJ deck, it's not exactly super sturdy, but I think the Rob Lowe meme allows me to actually be kind of a fan of every team. I can just fit in if for one given Sunday I can enjoy a Bills Mafia tailgate, get put through a table, and then I don't have any of the pain. I just let it go. And then off to the Raiders fandom I go the following week.
Don't get Bruce started on the Raiders.
The Raiders. I can't stand the Raiders. So the one thing I got to ask, man. So now that you've said this, so you can jump fan base to fan base with Rob, the Rob Lowe talk about it. But that being said, you said you would go through a table at a Bills game.
Yeah, I would.
Ooh, so that might be breaking. Have we admitted to that on the?
I would do that if I go to a Bills tailgate, a proper tailgate. I don't see any other way to experience it.
Oh,
properly.
I love this. I
He
absolutely
makes a good point.
I'd definitely go through the table. I'm going to WrestleMania this weekend. I would.
I wish I was going to be. Hey, Stone Cold's going to be there. He was my guy.
Yeah, I'm hearing early reports that he's in phenomenal shape, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Even though I haven't followed it really at all.
I started watching a little bit more just so that way I could see a little bit of Stone Cold, but Kevin Owens is really taking over the whole, mantra, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I follow AEW pretty regularly because I have friends over there, but the WWE it's just been hard to follow. But every year I make a trip with my friends. We're about 7 deep, and this is the 14th year.
Love it. Let's go.
Made a pilgrimage over to WrestleMania. Albeit there was one lockdown year that was kind of weird, but we're and 1 year in Miami, which really wasn't a pilgrimage. But this year we're excited to make our return to Dallas. I plan on going to plenty of roadhouses and wearing a lot of cowboy hats.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that. So real quick before we touch on some sports topics, though, favorite WrestleMania moment.
Favorite WrestleMania moment was actually kind of a sad one. Which was my first WrestleMania that I attended, which was Ric Flair's last proper match inside of the WWE. And that was, we had tremendous seats for that. Also was there when Taker's streak ended. And my friend,
I didn't like that.
Yeah, my friend who had a very irresponsible amount of money riding on Undertaker at WrestleMania because, he would, over the course of years, my friend who will remain nameless, Carlos, he would put thousands of dollars to win $47 because he was such a heavy favorite every year. And then the Brock year happened, and it was kind of, everyone says that it was stunning, and it really was. That you could hear a pin drop at times, and I just remember his face slow panning to me as it washed over him that he had just lost several $100 on a predetermined outcome.
Yeah,
and that was just. That was one of the greatest WrestleMania moments of my life.
It's great. Yeah. God, appreciate it.
So, Mike, I know that you're a big Heat guy.
Yeah.
And the one thing you and Bruce are going to have in common when it comes to basketball is your love for Jimmy Butler. So we're going to get you going a little bit here. Give us a little bit of a breakdown on what you've been thinking of the Heat this year. And do you think that they would absolutely demolish the Chicago Bulls in a playoff series? Yes or no?
Well, I think that you're laying a trap for me. I can tell by the W flag, but I think I think the Bulls' reputation precedes itself, given their struggles against the top teams in the East. I don't think it's too much of a shot to say that I have doubts about the Chicago Bulls' playoff chances, just given what we've seen very recently here, their inability to do that. I do like DeMar DeRozan's games in the playoffs. I think his game should translate well. However, if you look at his career in the playoffs historically, he's one of the worst playoff performers ever. And you would think a guy that can make contested mid-range jumpers, that's how you win in the playoffs. But for whatever reason, he hasn't quite pieced it together. Let's answer your question about Jimmy Butler, a player that I despised prior to him getting in a Miami Heat uniform. I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. The guy barely has a shot. He's a nasty defender, but he wears out his welcome, and all the things that, for the most part, are true about Jimmy Butler. But with that run inside the bubble that a lot of people try to dilute, there are not many people on this planet that could ratchet it up to a point where they can match LeBron James shot for shot in one of the greatest NBA Finals duels we've ever seen. Awesome. He literally laid it out all on the court to the point that I'm not even sure he's been the same player since then. He's a surly individual. He's a strange cat. Even when things are going good, he's tough to get along with. Over at Miami, he's got, when he's 36 years old, he's slated to make $50 million. Now, a lot of people worry about that. The Miami Heat have historically been pretty good at getting out of what are perceived to be bad contracts. And I'm not even saying Jimmy Butler's contract is a bad contract right now. Like, we all know he's not going to be able to shoot when he's 36. Hell, he can barely shoot now. He can still do other things, and he can prove that he can be a decent role player. Can they get Tyler Hero further along? I think Tyler had some quotes recently that seemed to publicly mend fences with Jimmy Butler, because I know for a fact last year that was a contentious relationship. Jimmy's hard to get along with. But I think the Miami Heat in general have as good a shot as anybody else in the East, and I know they're probably picked by many talking heads in the nation. Better avoid the Brooklyn Nets. I think the Brooklyn Nets have a lot to prove too. I think the expectation, though, by most is that they'll come out the 7th seed after that play-in experience. Home court advantage, I think, is going to matter. I don't really see a difference between seeds 1 and, if the Nets get into 7, seeds 1 through 7. I think they're going to all be total rock fights. I think Miami's made for rock fights. I think the home court advantage is going to matter. Their experience is going to matter. And ultimately, I think they come out of an East, but it's going to be an absolute dogfight. And I'm not sure there's going to be anything left of their bones by the time they actually have to face a team like, say, Phoenix. At that point, it just might be picking bones. But I like the Miami Heat coming out East. And it's not a very sexy opinion, even though they're the top seed in the East. It's a very strange year.
But one of the things that I to touch on the Heat a little bit more, I actually love that roster. I think Pat Riley does a phenomenal job of finding guys, and their talent evaluators and scouting department are absolutely amazing. So one of those guys I want to touch on is Max Struess.
Strus.
Yes. Dude, I was watching that game.
You're a Chicago guy. He went to DePaul. You should know the pronunciation.
Right. Yeah.
He should. But he doesn't.
I absolutely love. Hey, sometimes when you're on air, you just like, you guys are assholes. But no, genuinely though, I absolutely loved his game. And to be frank, like, I don't watch many Miami Heat games, and I saw it on, so I was like, okay, I'll pop it on, I'll watch it, because I enjoy Jimmy Butler, and I like Tyler Hero, and I know the history with the Miami Heat, and I know how well they play together, because there really isn't any strong, like, in that one guy that's like, holy shit. So that being said, I actually did want to ask you though about the talent evaluators of the Miami Heat, because I'm sure you know some of the people connected in that organization and whatnot. Yep. So what do you think about that evaluation, Pat Riley, like the way he runs his organization? Talk to us a little bit about that, his leadership and that talent evaluators in that organization.
I think what you're seeing right now is a pretty recent pivot from the organization's mindset. They still want to get Wales. Pat Riley says as much. Hell, they got Jimmy Butler with $0 in cap room. They made it work, which is a massive win in free agency. This is a guy that always bet the future for the right now. Didn't really give a flying bleep when it came to draft picks. And as the G League has risen to prominence a little bit and teams have started investing more in player development, the Miami Heat found themselves to be really good at player development. And they found a bunch of diamonds in the rough. Turned a lot of players like Tyler Johnson into a $50 million player, Hassan Whiteside into a max player. They were able to turn James Johnson and Dion Waiters into reclamation projects, and coincidentally sign them to extensions that they went on to regret. But you saw what they've done with Duncan Robinson. Now Duncan Robinson is out of the starting lineup. Why? Because they found another Duncan Robinson, not at $19 million like Duncan is. They found one in Max Strus, who had a really good fourth quarter for them against a really impressive Boston team.
True.
And now I think after the experience of Tyler Johnson and Hassan Whiteside and all those recent contributors that they were able to mold and develop in the G League, you realize that, wait, if I can do this with players that go undrafted like Max Strus,
Right.
why don't I start actually going after these lottery picks? Because I can develop the undrafted guys. One would stand reason that it would stand to reason that I can develop guys like Bam Adebayo, who they developed into an all-star and is right now the betting favorite to win NBA Defensive Player of the Year. Tyler Hero, who is now the betting favorite to win Sixth Man of the Year, who went to Kentucky, so obviously was a highly touted player and has a skill set as one of the more natural scorers. I would say he's probably the most natural scorer to ever put on a Miami Heat uniform. And I'm not saying in terms of like getting to the basket, going to the cup and scoring, but in terms of being able to shoot the ball, mid-range game, create his shot. I think in the mold of Carmelo, where you look at Carmelo and you look at LeBron, and people, it's just an NBA thing, would point to Carmelo, and even though LeBron would object, say Carmelo is a natural scorer. I agree with that. I think Tyler Hero is one of the more natural scorers to ever put on that uniform, and we'll see what happens by the end of his career in a Miami Heat uniform. I think now this is an organization that realizes in order to get the whales, when you don't have a lot of cap room, you need to be able to trade valuable assets for these players. So why don't we develop some of these players into big-time assets, into big-time players that could garner max contract potential? And now they've developed Tyler Hero into one of the more desirable NBA trade chip assets in the entire league. And depending on how this playoff goes, depending on how Tyler plays in this postseason, if the Miami Heat feel they're like a Bradley Beal away, all of a sudden you have a fully formed NBA award-winning player in Tyler Hero that you could potentially ship off or continue to build around.
Fair enough.
So what would your reaction be if they did do something like that and ship off Hero for Bradley Beal or a player of that caliber?
Well, you have to ask yourself the question: what is Tyler Hero's ceiling? All-star, I think. I think he was pretty. You could have made an argument that he was close to an all-star this year. So at that point, you start taking in the age, the bird rights. I don't know. I think Tyler Hero is ever going to be as good as Bradley Beal? That one's tough. I would if Tyler Hero becomes Bradley Beal, it's an amazing job by the Heat's development team. I would say probably on the balance of things, Bradley Beal will be a better player than Tyler Hero is, but it's not apples to apples. You got to take into account the contract situation, the age of these players, how they fit in with your culture. Not that Bradley Beal wouldn't, but that one to me was really hard. Last year, while Tyler Hero was struggling, and we had the whole James Harden for Tyler Hero thing that proved out to not actually be legitimate, but people were having that hypothetical, and I was always on the team like, no, we've seen the best of James Harden. You got to keep Tyler Hero. Bradley Beal to me is a more interesting candidate because I think he's got plenty of good basketball left.
So, Mike, I have a totally random question for you because that's what Roots and I like to do. Obviously, you're a huge basketball fan. If you had to compare your game, basketball game, to an NBA player, who would you be and why?
Derek White of the Boston Celtics, because I can't shoot a lick, but I can get myself in. Whenever I'm on the court, good things just tend to happen. I'll make smart plays and play with myself on the pickup. I don't overextend myself. I know that teams want me shooting the ball, so the only shots that I'm going to take are the ones that I have confidence in. I think Derek White plays smartly, but when teams push him to do more, that's when things go sideways. And Derek White that all of a sudden is beaming with confidence is probably one of the worst players in the league at that point, at least on the offensive side of the ball. So I would say I identify a lot with Derek White of the Boston Celtics.
Hey, he's a career 11-point average though, so that's not nothing to really
look at the field goal percentage this year. That is 38% from the field, 25% from three. That is me, beer league.
Mike, you came up with that so quickly. You've thought of that before.
Yeah, right. I was actually thinking about it last night when he played the Celtics. I'm like, this guy.
This is my guy.
At times, this guy looks like the worst player on the court. I'm like, I was texting with Celtics guys. I'm like, what is this guy's deal? I don't trust him at all. And then they started telling me about paying attention to how he would switch on defense and they pointed out correctly that they went on a 21-4 run while he was out
When he's in
there, like just acting like a wild man, just out of control, driving the lane, didn't really even look all that skilled. And I was very into the Derek White experience. There was just something about it. He had the it factor for me. So I have been thinking about it for the last 24 hours.
I like it. That's not bad. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to kind of switch gears a little bit, keep on the basketball topic, but we kind of touched on it in the very beginning, talking about the NCAA. And I did, saying that I got my ass handed to me a lot. So that being said, Mike, who was your Final Four, and are you still alive right now in your bracket?
What? What? Who was in my Final Four?
Is anyone alive, Bruce?
The key word right there was, okay?
Yeah, I lost half of my Final Four day one.
Same.
Day one. Not night one. Not even in the evening, like day one.
Was Kentucky and Iowa?
I had Iowa. I loved Iowa.
I love their offense.
I loved Iowa, and I really loved UConn. And
wow.
Yeah, I haven't had watched UConn play quite a bit, and I was a real fan. I had UConn as my national champion. So
you were screwed immediately.
yeah. That was.
I would have understood more if you put Miami, but
no, I had Miami in the Sweet 16, but I was as surprised by that run, and I'm a big Canes booster, and I was over the moon with how that turned out. It was wholly unexpected, but it actually makes sense when you really think about how veteran laden that team. They were relying on a guy named Cam McGusty, who was in the same recruiting class as Bam Adebayo and Jason Tatum.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. Charlie Moore, our starting point guard, was on his fourth major D1 program. He played at Cal.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's incredible.
He played at Cal. He played at DePaul.
You're right. He did.
He played at DePaul, and he also played at Kansas, who ended up eliminating us in the Elite Eight. So when there are photos of you in approximately 3% of all eligible schools, when you're wearing that uniform, you got an old ass team. And if you know how to play, if you have a good solid backcourt in Jim Laranaga's system, that's usually when he has his success. And believe it or not, Miami had obviously not known for its basketball program. That's the furthest they've ever gone, the Elite Eight. And we'll always have that first half against Kansas. Oh, true. Boy, we were up 6. That was a hell of a swing from up 6 to losing.
And Vegas lost a lot of money last weekend, by the way, with their Elite Eight spreads. With St. Pete's, what were they, 8.5 or something, plus 8.5, and they got absolutely destroyed by North Carolina. And with University of Miami, what was it? They were plus 4.
Yeah, here was my Final Four. I just tracked it down because I literally forgot what my Final Four was because it had been toast for so long. You just
said, screw it, I'm done.
Yeah, it's like me asking you who was your Final Four from 2 years ago. That's how long ago my Final Four was out. My Final Four was Illinois, Iowa, Connecticut, and Baylor.
You just wanted to win and like
so a hell of a strategy. It really panned out for me.
I mean, I guess you're just as screwed as everyone else was.
True. All right, so let's move on to this weekend because North Carolina is 4.5 or is it 4? I think it's 4. Is it 4 or 4.5? I can't remember. It's one of those two. It's 4. And then Nova is plus 4.5 against Kansas. So if you don't mind, would you be so gracious to share your DraftKings prediction with us?
My prediction for this game is I'm going to do transitive property. And
wow, that might be one of the smartest things anyone's ever said in our show, just so you know.
Transitive property, being that I went to the Miami, North Carolina game, and Miami absolutely blew the doors off of North Carolina and handed them one of the worst losses in program history. And since then, North Carolina has been a totally different team. Credit to them. It's a weird NCAA tournament in which the Tar Heels are your Cinderella story. That's a good point. And Miami did beat Duke at Duke. but then later lost to them in the ACC tournament. So on the balance of things, I, just using my team as an example, would happen to think Duke is the better team of the two. So I'd side with Duke, and it drives everybody crazy. Having played Kansas, though, that's a really formidable team. And I think Kansas ends up winning the title, but I told you what my Final Four was, so don't listen to anything that I say.
Fair. So, all right. So, what are you throwing the dough down on then? Though
I would go Kansas just because the injury situation over at Villanova, and I may wait till a live opportunity presents itself in the Duke UNC game. I'm there for the theater of it. As much as the Coach K thing was overkill, especially if you were actually tuning in to watch one of the other teams that you supported. I mean, I was watching the USC Miami game. There were 30 seconds left. It was a 1-point game.
I watched that. I saw that.
And they were showing Coach K arrive to the arena. I found it super insulting. I was trying to see who was on the court for my team, and I couldn't actually see the personnel that was on the court in a key clutch moment because Coach K hopped on the back of a golf cart. I found it all a little ridiculous. But I mean, it is what it is. It's probably as good a storyline. I cannot believe this is the first time these two teams have matched up in the NCAA tournament. Part of me is rooting for North Carolina just because I don't want this to continue. But the producer in me knows that this is
storyline.
This is the storyline that people want to tune in to see. Yeah. So I'll tune in to see the circus and perpetuate the evil wishes of these producers doing all those evil things to us viewers.
So I'll give you a nugget about North Carolina and Duke, and do with it as you want. And it doesn't matter. You can throw it away if you want, and I wouldn't blame you. But Duke and North Carolina met in the 1971 NIT. 1971 or 1919? Yeah, 1971 NIT.
Well, that wasn't even Duke when Duke was Duke.
Yeah, but you can still use it.
Yeah. Pre-Coach K doesn't even
50 years
count.
Ago.
Yeah, pre-Coach K doesn't count.
Pre-Coach K. I love it.
Coach K doesn't count.
So, Mike, I just want to thank you for coming on the show, spending some time with us. It has been a pleasure having you. There's so many more things we could ask you about. Before you leave,
yes,
there's one more thing I want to do. Our producer, Richie, has been watching your show and listening to your show for about 8 years. So I'm going to give Richie our last question. I'm going to bring him in because he has been following you, and he freaked out when I told him that you were going to be on the show. So I'm going to bring Richie in. Richie,
hey, Rich.
Mike, Richie.
Hey, what's up, Mike?
How's it going, man?
Good. How are you? I'm fantastic. I'm excited right now. I've been a huge fan of you forever. It's been a fan. Your show has done a lot for me. Are you muting me? Seriously?
No,
I muted you on Zoom, Richie.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad. You've done a lot for my mental health. I'm sure you've heard a lot. You've heard a lot about that. People tell you all the time. I just want to thank you for making me laugh all the time. Appreciate it. But quick question. How was this? I get the show.
Yeah. Rich, I couldn't help but notice Rich was wearing a headband indoors. Which probably meant, okay. Rich, look, you're overcompensating with Sector 4, brushing it over. I see you retreating. I see that forehead. You shouldn't be. You're throwing stones from a glass house, my man.
I embraced it.
Yeah. Well, you're rocking it well. I couldn't, and I'm still dealing with it. That was very uncool. After saying some very nice things. If I could, on my way out, this is a weird bit of promotion that I'm sure you've never gotten before, but
Go for it.
I, along with other members on our show and this Nashville-based musician named JT Daly, created a sports musical based on the 2021 NFL season. It ended up being really good. We made it in about 15 days in a dark, cold dungeon. It actually turned out to be really good. It's called The Big Game. It went to #1 in the country on iTunes, number 71 on the Billboard charts. It's got staying power, and it's received some critical acclaim. We want to keep that going. I'm trying to grow the project. I'm trying to exploit a market inefficiency and get your boy a Grammy for either a comedy or musical album. So please support The Big Game. If you like football, there's inside jokes there if you follow the show, but it tells the story of the NFL season from the start to the finish and all the moral conflicts in between. There's even a song dedicated to Tom Brady's retirement that is already dated because he came out of retirement. So please support The Big Game wherever you find albums or on any major platform. Apple Music, Spotify, just search The Big Game.
Love it. And I will definitely check it out, Mike.
Thank you. It means a lot. I'm trying to grow that project, and I'm very proud of it, and it's got some bangers on that.
Hey, same right now. We're trying to grow Third Down Thursday, so if you want to help us out, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah. Shoot out the link, send me a tag, and I'll retweet it. Thank you, guys.
Done. Much appreciated.
You're
Mike.
the man. We appreciate you, Mike. Once again,
Sure.
thanks for coming on.
Thank
It's been
you.
a pleasure.
Even
Hope to have
Rich.
you back sometime.
Even Rich.
Yes. We'll talk to you later, Mike.
Fucking Rich.
I love it. That was gold.
Oh my gosh.
That might have been the first person to leave that we did an interview with that said fucking whoever, like that frustrated him.
Okay, so now we're gonna bring Richie back in to see how much he's losing his mind. Hi, Richie. How you doing?
How you doing,
I
buddy?
don't know if you saw that, but I fell down on the floor in laughter.
I saw it.
I literally just went like, wow.
Oh, that's gold, man.
So
Absolute gold.
two things. Number one, Mike flamed you. That's
I know, that's
number
great.
one. And number two, I heard the voice crack while you were
I
asking
did
him.
too. I did too. He's like,
I heard that. And how is that?
Shut up. Yeah, no. You know who's gonna get a kick out of that? I'm
Who?
gonna send that to Ryan because Ryan makes fun of me.
No one knows who Ryan is.
Ryan, me and MJ.
Our
know who
mutual
Ryan
friends.
is.
Oh,
Here's
you're
a
right.
Richie.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, because he would make fun of me for the forehead. He mentioned the forehead, so he's gonna be like, yeah, Mike knows what's up.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
That's great.
I love that. That was awesome. Dude, and the fact that you just like put it out there like that, it was perfect. And, I saw Mike's reaction to it. He's just like,
He's like, I'm gonna beat this
No,
kid.
like
this motherfucker right
he. I don't know if you know the backstory behind that.
Well, you should have asked him about it.
Well, no,
too,
I
but-
know the backstory behind that. He had to go, but basically, he made a bet that that Alabama would beat.
Oh, Georgia. They did.
So it was before. It was when they faced in the championship game before,
Right.
like the SEC and Georgia.
That was a while ago.
Wait, did Georgia beat them in the SEC game, or did Alabama beat them in the SEC game?
No, Alabama
Georgia beat him in the SEC.
Yeah, so he made a bet that like
Okay.
Georgia wasn't good enough or whatever, and so they for the national championship game, and he ended up losing the bet. And he said that he was so confident that Alabama would win that he said he would do a Paul Feinbaum cut.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah, no. In the SEC championship game,
It might have been the bat. It might have been the
Alabama. No, Alabama kicked the shit out of.
It might have been
Georgia.
backwards. I might have had it backwards, but
It was in the national championship game.
He made a very bad bet, and it didn't work.
I might have had it backwards, but basically he was so confident, and I don't remember what it was. Either one of those two teams, and
that was gold. And I like how you got like all upset that you got muted. Like, dude,
I thought I got muted. I was like, I'm about to
He muted you on Zoom, Ricky.
on Zoom, and you're the producer, dude. You gotta watch, like, look on the screen and see what happens, dog.
No, I did. I saw my
Also,
screen was
mute
muted.
yourself when you're getting put in the show. Goodness,
Right.
I gave you 5 seconds notice.
No. So yeah, I know. I probably should have done that. But yeah, no, yeah, he made a really bad bet, and like he put off doing it for like 2 months, and then they finally made him do it, and so he wasn't happy about it.
We got to
So-
make sure we tag Mike in this so that way he can get his little pub.
Oh, we will.
And we need to make sure we share his the big game information to
Yes,
a
I
link
was gonna
to
say
it.
this. I didn't get a chance to. I was gonna say this. Richie and I listened to the thing when we were driving around at the combine.
What's the
Yeah, Indianapolis. Yeah.
Oh, the big
Yeah.
game thing.
Yeah,
It
we
came out.
listened
Oh,
to
no
it.
shit.
It came
Yeah,
out.
was
during
that when we were
Indianapolis.
driving home, Richie?
Yes, because you were
Yeah.
sleeping through half of it. Yeah.
Yes, I slept through it, and it was funny. I remember the exact comment I made to Richie was, "That sounds enough like a musical that when you sleep through half of it, you don't know that it's not a musical."
Interesting.
I was
All right,
tired.
then.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So it came out like that same week. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah,
Well,
that was if anybody. Let me just say this: if anybody fits what we do, it's him.
Oh, 100%. The best was fucking Richie. He just fucking or fucking Rich.
You know what? I'm gonna
love
clip
that.
that, and I'm gonna literally just have that on loop at all times in my life, in my room.
Oh, here we go.
It's gonna be fantastic.
He's gonna hang it in his room. That's cool.
I'm gonna hang the clip and have it play in a loop
On a
for the rest of
loop
my
in
life.
his room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't you go hang making some clips? Go do your job.
Oh man, that's
Love you,
terrible.
Richie.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that was one of the best interviews
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I
in my
agree.
opinion.
I 100% agree.
I think we did a very good job. We were on track. We were a good combination of professional and entertaining.
We're really doing that right now. I got my toilet right here. There we go. Now we classed up the joint. Got it.
What can I don't even know what I have. I ate some lasagna tonight. It was really good.
You're gonna need a toilet.
Yes, I am. You best believe it. Paige was like, "Why aren't you eating some more?" And I said, "Because
I'm gonna
I
need a
don't
toilet.
want to have some troubles during the show."
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Well, good shit, dude. That wasn't
Yeah.
bad at all. That wasn't bad at all.
I approve. Next week. Well, okay. Next week we'll have somebody. I have a couple people in mind.
Let's not throw anything out there yet.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not even.
Oh, fair.
I'm not even worrying about that until that occurs.
Sure.
We're not gonna freak out about that ever again. But I do have a couple people that we might be able to get on the show. I'll tell you afterwards. Former NFL players that I've been talking to. So
Fair enough. Well,
very cool.
hey, catch
Very
up.
good stuff.
Hey, catch us next week on Third Down Thursdays. MJ and I, along with some shenanigans from Richie, I'm sure. I'll be live on Wednesday for Beers and Sports. We're gonna talk some BS with Eric and I and MJ. And what? I don't know. I thought I was gonna let you. That was a transition for you to.
Oh no, I really have nothing.
Fair.
Yeah, I got nothing. That's all I got. We'll be back next week. More shenanigans.
More shenanigans, more fun, and more. Let's go. Oh yeah.